listener, and thank you for choosing to spend this quiet time with us here at our channel. Tonight, we invite you to journey into the heart of the Gardener of Whispering Star-Thyme, a soothing and enchanting sleep story designed to gently lull you into a peaceful and restorative slumber. If you find comfort in our tales and wish to explore more havens of tranquility, we warmly invite you to like this video and subscribe to our channel before we step into the gentle embrace of the Sunpetal Thicket. We will begin with a soft breathing guidance to help you unwind and prepare for the journey ahead. Should you wish to drift directly into the story, you can find the timestamps for each chapter thoughtfully placed in the description below. Please take a moment now to settle into your most comfortable position. Allow your body to sink softly into your mattress, feeling fully supported, wonderfully heavy, and completely at ease. Perhaps adjust your blankets, creating a cozy cocoon around you, or nestle your head a little deeper into your pillow. This is your special time, a quiet interlude to let go of the day's concerns and welcome a profound sense of calm and quiet into your evening. Allow the gentle magic of the star-thyme and the peaceful rhythms of the Sunpetal Thicket to begin their soothing work, guiding you towards a state of deep and effortless relaxation. Let us take a wonderfully calming breath together. Inhale slowly and gently through your nose, feeling the air flow in with a natural, easy cadence, filling your lungs with fresh, clean peace. Then, exhale softly and completely through your mouth, like a gentle sigh releasing all that no longer serves you. With each breath that follows, feel your body softening a little more. Any lingering tension melting away like frost in the morning sun. Imagine a soft, warm wave of relaxation flowing in with each inhale, and as you exhale, picture it washing away the remnants of the day, leaving only stillness and serenity in its wake. Visualize the soft, ethereal glow of the Sunpetal Thicket, the shimmer of star-thyme under a canopy of ancient, benevolent trees, and breathe in its sweet, calming fragrance. If your mind happens to wander, as mine sometimes do, that is perfectly alright. Simply acknowledge the thought without judgment, like watching a soft cloud drift lazily across a peaceful sky, and then gently, tenderly, return your attention to the rhythm of your breath or the sound of my voice. There is nothing you need to do right now, nothing to achieve, except to listen and allow the story to carry you softly towards rest. Feel the gentle pulse of the thicket, the steady, quiet heartbeat of nature as it flows serenely by. Let this gentle rhythm carry away your worries, your cares, your doubts, leaving you light and free. Allow yourself to become one with the quiet harmony of this magical place. As you listen to the unfolding tale of Aisling and Cormac, let the gentle magic of the star-thyme envelop you, bringing you a profound sense of peace, comfort, and contentment. Now, let us begin our journey into the heart of the Sunpetal Thicket, where the whispers of starlit herbs await to guide you into a serene and deeply restful sleep. Chapter 1. The Scent of Starlight. Aisling walked, though to where she could not precisely say. Behind her lay a world of clamour and insistent demands, a life that had gradually worn away at her spirit until she felt as thin and frayed as an old piece of cloth. A profound weariness had settled deep within her bones, a persistent ache that no amount of sleep in her previous life could quite dispel. Her shoulders felt perpetually hunched, as if bracing against an unseen wind, and her breath often caught in her chest, shallow and hesitant. She sought not adventure, nor riches, nor even company, but simply a place where the quiet was deep enough to hear her own thoughts, or perhaps to hear nothing at all, for a blessed while. The path she followed was little more than a deer track, winding through overgrown meadows where wild flowers nodded their heavy heads in the late afternoon sun. The air was warm, carrying the scent of dry grass and distant pines, and the only sounds were the drone of unseen insects and the occasional rustle in the undergrowth. As twilight began to softly paint the sky in hues of lavender and rose, a new scent drifted towards her, faint at first, yet utterly distinct. It was a fragrance unlike any she had ever known, sweet yet clean, with an ethereal note that reminded her of cool moonlight on fresh linen, and something else, something ancient and deeply calming, like honeyed lavender. Curiosity, a gentle tug rather than a sharp pull, guided her feet. She left the vague track and moved towards the source of this enchanting aroma, her steps slow and deliberate over the uneven ground. The weariness in her limbs seemed to respond to the scent, a subtle easing, a fractional release of tension she hadn't realised she was holding. The world around her began to soften. The chirping of crickets grew more muted. The distant call of a night bird seemed further away, as if the air itself was becoming a thicker, more comforting medium. Ahead, just over a slight rise, crested with a cluster of gnarled, ancient-looking hawthorns, she perceived a faint, inviting glow, like the last embers of a magical fire, or starlight captured close to the earth. The scent of starlight, for that is what her heart named it, grew stronger with every step, weaving around her like an invisible, welcoming embrace. It spoke not in words, but in sensations, a promise of rest, a whisper of peace, a balm for a tired soul. Her breath, which had been so often constricted, began to deepen, to flow more easily in and out, as if the air itself was sweeter here, imbued with a gentle magic. The faint glow ahead pulsed softly, a beacon in the deepening dusk, not harsh or demanding, but serene and steady, like a calm and knowing eye. She reached the crest of the rise, parting the low-hanging branches of the hawthorns, their leaves cool and smooth against her skin. Below her, nestled in a shallow dip in the land, lay a small, secluded thicket. It was from here that the light emanated, a soft, diffused luminescence that seemed to rise from the very ground, bathing the undersides of the leaves of the encircling trees in a silvery sheen. And the scent, oh, the scent was heavenly, a rich, enveloping cloud of pure tranquility that seemed to seep into her very pores loosening the knots of worry and fatigue that had bound her for so long. Aisling felt a profound sense of relief wash over her, so potent it was almost a physical sensation, like stepping into a warm, calm pool of water after a long and arduous journey. The air here was still, yet vibrantly alive, thick with a peace that was almost tangible. She could feel the muscles in her neck and shoulders beginning to soften, to release their tight grip. The constant low thrum of anxiety that had been her companion for months, perhaps years, seemed to quieten, to recede into the background. She took a slow, deliberate step downwards towards the gentle light and the embracing aroma. The ground beneath her feet was surprisingly soft, a carpet of fallen leaves and rich, yielding earth. Each footfall was muffled, adding to the profound sense of quietude. It felt as though she were entering a sacred space, a hidden sanctuary forgotten by the loud, rushing world, a place where her tired spirit might finally find permission to rest, to simply be. A sigh, deep and unfettered, escaped her lips, a sound she hadn't realised she'd been holding back. It carried with it a measure of the immense weariness she had borne, and as it dissipated into the fragrant air of the thicket, she felt a fraction lighter. The Sunpetal Thicket, though she did not yet know its name, seemed to welcome her, its gentle light a soft invitation, its pervasive scent a soothing lullaby for a soul in desperate need of slumber. Here, perhaps, she could begin to heal. Chapter 2. The Sunpetal Thicket. As Aisling stepped fully into the embrace of the Sunpetal Thicket, it was as if she had crossed an invisible threshold into another world, a realm woven from threads of moonlight and dreams. The air itself felt different here, softer, imbued with a gentle warmth that had nothing to do with the fading sun, and everything to do with the serene energy that permeated the very soil and leaves. Ancient trees, their bark like dark velvet, dusted with silver lichen, formed a high, protective canopy. Their leaves, uniquely shaped like cupped hands, filtered the last vestiges of twilight and the first shy starlight into a dappled, ever-shifting pattern of soft luminescence upon the forest floor. The ground beneath her feet was a deep cushion of fallen leaves, moss, and rich dark earth, so soft that her footsteps made barely a whisper. It was this earth, she slowly realised, that seemed to be the source of the gentle glow she had followed. Not everywhere, but in distinct meandering patches, the soil itself and the delicate feathery plants growing from it emitted a faint, silvery blue light. It was the Star-Thyme, though she did not yet know its name, its leaves shimmering as if dusted with crushed moonbeams. The sight was so entirely unexpected, so quietly magical, that she could only stand and gaze, her weariness momentarily forgotten in a wave of pure wonder. A gentle sound reached her ears, a constant, soothing murmur that seemed to be the very heartbeat of the thicket. Following it with her eyes, she saw a small stream, its waters as clear as polished glass, winding its way through the glades of glowing herbs. It gurgled softly over smooth, moss-covered stones, its surface reflecting the faint light from the star-time and the deepening sky above. The sound was profoundly calming, a liquid lullaby that invited stillness and contemplation. It seemed to wash over her senses, cleansing away the harsh edges of the world she had left behind. Then she saw him, further into the thicket, moving with a slow, deliberate grace that seemed perfectly attuned to the tranquil rhythm of the place, was a figure. It was a man, though he seemed as much a part of the ancient landscape as the trees themselves. He was tall and slender, clad in simple, earth-toned garments that blended seamlessly with his surroundings. His silver hair, long and loosely tied, caught the faint light, and his movements as he knelt to tend a patch of the luminous star-thyme were unhurried, reverent, as if he were engaged in a sacred ritual. This, Aisling intuited, was the gardener. She watched him for a long while, content to simply observe from the edge of a small clearing. He did not seem to notice her, or if he did, he gave no sign, his attention wholly absorbed by the glowing herbs. He would gently touch a leaf, examine a stem, his hands moving with an almost preternatural tenderness. There was an aura of immense peace about him, a serenity so profound it seemed to radiate outwards, adding to the already palpable tranquility of the thicket. Seeing him, Aisling felt another layer of tension dissolve from her shoulders, a deep sigh escaping her lips. The gardener, Cormac, though she had not yet learned his name, seemed to embody the very essence of the Sunpetal Thicket. His quiet presence, his gentle ministrations to the glowing plants, the unhurried rhythm of his existence. It all spoke of a life lived in deep harmony with nature, a life far removed from the fretful urgencies that had exhausted her. There was a wisdom in his stillness, a strength in his quietude, that Aisling found herself inexplicably drawn to. As the last light faded from the sky and the stars began to prick the velvety darkness above the canopy, the glow of the star-thyme seemed to intensify, casting soft, ethereal shadows. The air grew cooler, carrying the sweet, intensified fragrance of the herbs and the damp, earthy scent of the forest floor. Aisling found a smooth, moss-covered log at the edge of the clearing and sank down upon it, feeling the yielding softness beneath her. The moss felt cool and slightly damp, grounding her. She closed her eyes for a moment, simply breathing in the profound peace of the Sunpetal Thicket. The scent of star-thyme was a balm to her frayed nerves, its gentle perfume seeming to smooth out the tangled thoughts in her mind. The murmur of the stream was a constant, soothing presence. Here, in this hidden sanctuary, the weight on her spirit felt noticeably lighter. It was a place of natural magic, a haven where the weary heart could find solace. And for the first time in what felt like an eternity, Aisling felt a flicker of hope, a quiet intimation that perhaps, just perhaps, she had found her way to a place where healing could truly begin. Chapter 3. learning the language of leaves. For a time that Aisling could not measure, she simply sat on the mossy log, observing the gentle rhythms of the Sunpetal Thicket and its serene inhabitant. Cormac, the gardener, eventually rose from his tending of a particularly luminous patch of star-thyme. He moved with the unhurried grace of flowing water, his bare feet making no sound on the soft earth. He did not approach her directly, but rather moved to the edge of the clearing, where the stream chuckles softly over its smooth stones. He knelt, cupped his hands, and drank deeply, then remained still, gazing into the clear water as if reading ancient secrets within its depths. Aisling felt no fear, no apprehension, only a quiet curiosity and a growing sense of ease. When Cormac finally turned his gaze towards her, his eyes, the colour of warm earth after rain, held a gentle welcome, a soft understanding that needed no words. He offered a slight inclination of his head, a gesture of acknowledgement, and then, with a slow sweep of his hand, indicated the thicket around them, as if to say, "This piece is here for you too." He then returned to his gentle work, moving to another patch of shimmering star-thyme, his presence a comforting anchor in the tranquil space. Hesitantly at first, Aisling rose and took a few tentative steps deeper into the thicket. The air felt even softer here, the scent of star-thyme more intimately woven into the fabric of the evening. She found herself beside a smaller, less vibrant patch of the herb, its leaves barely whispering with light. Almost without thinking, her hand reached out, her fingers brushing against the feathery foliage. The leaves were cool to the touch, yet beneath them, the soil itself held a subtle, lingering warmth, like a memory of sunshine, or perhaps starlight. She noticed a few small, tenacious weeds encroaching upon the delicate star-thyme. On impulse, she knelt, just as she had seen Cormac do, and began to gently ease them from the soil, taking care not to disturb the roots of the glowing herb. The earth was soft and friable, yielding easily. The work was simple, repetitive, and strangely soothing. Her mind, usually a whirl of anxious thoughts, began to quieten, focusing solely on the texture of the soil, the delicate stems of the weeds, the faint, almost imperceptible pulse of light from the star-thyme. Cormac, without a word, moved closer, not to supervise, but simply to work companionably nearby. He began to hum softly, a melody without words, a tune that seemed to rise from the earth itself, harmonizing with the murmur of the stream and the rustle of leaves in the high canopy. The sound was deeply reassuring, weaving another thread of tranquility into the atmosphere. Aisling felt the rhythm of her own breathing slow and deepen, falling into synchrony with the gentle cadence of his song and the quiet work of her hands. As she worked, she began to notice the subtle nuances of the thicket, the way the star-thyme leaves seemed to sigh when a faint breeze stirred them, a sound like hushed secrets being shared, the way the ancient trees seemed to listen, their massive trunks exuding an air of patient wisdom. She learned to differentiate the the textures of various mosses under her fingertips, some like velvet, others like plush carpet. The scent of crushed star-thyme leaves on her fingers was a delicate perfume, calming and subtly sweet. It was a language without words, a communication through sensation, through shared stillness and gentle action. Occasionally, Cormac would pause and point to a particular plant, not star-thyme, but perhaps a shy, night-blooming flower just beginning to unfurl its petals, or a type of luminous fungus clinging to a fallen log. He would merely indicate it, a soft smile touching his lips, inviting her to share in the quiet wonder. There were no lessons, no instructions, only a gentle guidance into a deeper appreciation of the thicket's subtle life. The weight in Aisling's shoulders continued to ease, the tightness in her chest loosened further. Her hands, usually restless, found a peaceful purpose in the soft earth. The hours slipped by, uncounted, unheeded. The moon climbed higher, its silvery light filtering through the canopy, mingling with the soft glow of the star-thyme. Aisling felt a profound sense of belonging, a quiet joy in the simple act of tending, of being present in this magical, peaceful place. The language of leaves, of light, of scent and sound was slowly but surely seeping into her spirit, washing away the accumulated grime of her former life and planting seeds of a new, more serene understanding. She was learning not just about the star-thyme, but about the deep, restorative power of stillness and gentle connection. Chapter 4. The Moon-Kissed Harvest. As the days in the Sunpetal Thicket melted one into the next, as seamlessly as dawn into morning, Aisling found herself falling into a gentle, natural rhythm. She would wake with the soft light filtering through the canopy, her mind clearer and calmer than it had been in years. The weariness that had clung to her like a shroud was gradually lifting, replaced by a quiet energy, a desire to participate in the gentle life of the thicket. Cormac remained a figure of serene wisdom, his presence a constant, comforting reassurance. They worked side by side, often in companionable silence, tending the shimmering patches of star-thyme, their movements slow and mindful. One evening, as a luminous full moon began its ascent, painting the sky with a pearly iridescence, Cormac spoke, his voice as soft as the rustle of leaves. "Tonight," he said, his eyes reflecting the moon's gentle light, "the star-thyme is at its most generous. The moon calls to it, and it answers with its fullest heart." He gestured towards the patches of the herb, which did indeed seem to pulse with a brighter, more ethereal glow than usual, their silvery blue luminescence casting a magical sheen on the surrounding foliage. The air itself seemed to vibrate with a subtle energy, and the fragrance of the star-thyme was richer, sweeter, and more profoundly calming than ever before. Together, they moved through the moonlit glades, each carrying a shallow, hand-woven basket. The only sounds were the gentle snip-snip of Cormac's small, sharp shears as he carefully carefully harvested the choicest sprigs of star-thyme, and the soft whisper of Aisling's own movements as she followed his lead, her touch tentative at first, then growing more confident. The night air was cool and fresh against her skin, carrying the mingling scents of the potent star-thyme, damp earth, and the delicate perfume of unseen night-blooming flowers that only opened their petals to the moon. The experience was deeply meditative, each carefully chosen sprig a small treasure. There was a profound stillness in the thicket under the full moon, a hush that seemed to magnify the smallest sounds. The distant hoot of an owl, the soft sigh of the wind in the highest branches, the almost inaudible hum that seemed to emanate from the earth itself. Aisling felt completely immersed in the moment, her senses heightened, her mind quiet and receptive. The moonlight bathed everything in a soft, silvery glow, transforming the familiar thicket into a landscape of dreams. Her own basket slowly filled with the fragrant, glowing herb, its subtle light a comforting presence. When their baskets were laden, they returned to the simple, moss-roofed dwelling where Cormac lived, nestled so naturally amongst the trees that it seemed to have grown there. Inside, by the soft, flickering light of a single beeswax candle and the gentle glow from a small, contained hearth where embers pulsed with warmth, they began to prepare the star-thyme. Some they tied into small bunches to dry, hanging them from the low wooden beams where they swayed gently, releasing their soothing aroma. The rest, Cormac showed her how to gently bruise to release its essential oils before steeping it in hot water from a clay kettle that had been warming by the hearth. The steam rising from the clay mugs was intensely fragrant, carrying the concentrated essence of the star-thyme, a scent that promised deep peace and restful dreams. Aisling cupped her hands around the warm mug, feeling the gentle heat seep into her palms, a comforting sensation that spread up her arms and into her shoulders, further easing any lingering tension. They sat in comfortable silence, sipping the warm, honey-sweetened infusion. The taste was as calming as its scent, a liquid lullaby that seemed to soothe every nerve, every weary thought. That night, Aisling slept more deeply and peacefully than she could ever remember. Curled beneath a soft, hand-woven blanket that smelled faintly of star-thyme and wood smoke, she drifted into a slumber free from troubled dreams. Instead, her sleep was filled with images of starlight, gentle breezes, and the quiet, luminous beauty of the moon-kissed thicket. She woke in the soft light of dawn, feeling profoundly refreshed, a sense of well-being suffusing her entire being. The moon-kissed harvest had been more than just a gathering of herbs. It had been a gift, a deep immersion in the restorative magic of the Sunpetal Thicket. Chapter 5. A Quiet Farewell, A New Beginning. The seasons within the Sunpetal Thicket did not march with the bold pronouncements of the outside world, but rather they shifted with a gentle, almost imperceptible grace. Aisling had watched the light change subtly. The star-thyme patches wax and wane in their luminescence with the phases of the moon. descend into restorative slumber, all under the calming influence of the thicket and its gentle guardian. The weariness that had once been her constant companion had become a distant memory, replaced by a quiet resilience and a new-found appreciation for the simple beauty of existence. One morning, as she sat by the stream, watching sunlight dapple the clear water, a realization settled upon her, as soft and natural as a falling leaf. It was time. Not an ending, she felt, but a transition. The Sunpetal Thicket had offered her its profound healing, its quiet wisdom, and she had received it with an open heart. Now, a gentle stirring within her suggested that the peace she had found was not solely tied to this magical place, but had taken root within her own being, a seed ready to be nurtured wherever she might go. She found Cormac tending a new cluster of star-thyme seedlings near the ancient silver bark trees. He looked up as she approached, his eyes, as ever, holding a deep, knowing calm. Before she could speak, he smiled, a gentle, understanding expression. "The path calls you onward, little bird," he said, his voice a soft rumble. "The wings you have mended here are strong enough to carry you now." There was no sadness in his tone, only a quiet affirmation. Together, they walked through the Sunpetal Thicket one last time, not as a farewell tour, but as a quiet acknowledgement of all it had given her. Aisling noticed the intricate patterns of moss on a fallen log, the delicate veins on a star-thyme leaf, the way the sunpetal light seemed to dance and shimmer, with a clarity and appreciation she hadn't possessed upon her arrival. Every scent, every sound, every subtle shift in the atmosphere was now a familiar friend, a cherished memory etched into her soul. The weight of the world had truly lifted from her shoulders. Her breath was easy and full, her posture relaxed and open. Before she reached the edge of the thicket, where the hawthorn stood sentinel, Cormac pressed two gifts into her hands. One was a small, hand-woven sachet, plump with dried star-thyme, its fragrance a concentrated essence of the thicket's peace. The other was a tiny earthenware pot containing a single, healthy star-thyme seedling, its leaves already showing a faint, promising shimmer. "A little piece of the thicket to carry with you," he said softly. "Remember to offer it starlight and listen to its whispers." Aisling's heart felt full, not with sorrow at leaving, but with an immense gratitude that swelled within her chest. "I will never forget this place, Cormac," she said, her voice quiet but steady. "Or your kindness." He simply nodded, his gaze warm and benevolent. There was no need for grand pronouncements. The understanding between them was as deep and silent as the ancient trees. Stepping out from under the protective canopy of the Sunpetal Thicket and into the brighter light of the wider world felt different this time. The air beyond the thicket no longer seemed harsh or jarring, but simply different. She carried the thicket's peace within her now, a quiet core of serenity. She paused at the crest of the rise and looked back. The Sunpetal Thicket lay nestled below, a haven of soft light and gentle shadows, its magical presence a comforting certainty. Star-Thyme, Aisling turned and began to walk her new path. Her steps were light, her spirit calm. She knew not exactly where she was going, but she carried with her the most precious of provisions: a mended heart, a quiet mind, and the enduring magic of a place where starlight touched the earth and offered its gentle healing to all who sought it. The journey ahead felt not like a return to weariness, but a new beginning, infused with the quiet joy and profound peace she had discovered amongst the whispering Star-Thyme.